Oh my goodness. Hello, Percival. Alright, let me make sure that's not too loud. Let's turn that down a little bit. And let's make sure that my audio is capturing. My cat is screaming at me. Hi, Pebbles. I hope you all are having a good day. My name's Sakutian. I have been playing so many games lately, y'all, and I haven't been doing a lot of like just kind of vibing with you all and hanging out and stuff. And I've loved the games that we've been playing together. But I wanted to take this week to kind of vibe a little bit, hang out, talk about some stuff, talk about some projects and things. Hello, Atomic. Because like I've been playing games, like we had the Digimon game come out. We've been playing the Quarry. We did Menu Monday. We played a ton of Dispatch. So we have just had like game. And I play a lot of games, but I do like to try to occasionally come out and do some just chatting too. We were gonna do a Stings, Wings, and Other Things with my friend Flora, but she had to reschedule, so that didn't happen. So that'll happen at another time when we reschedule it. But today, I wanted to talk about a project that I started working on. Also, I have Beef here with me. This is Beef. Say hello to Beef. I can make Beef grow big. Giant Beef. Little Beef. Tiny Beef. Large Beef. Hello, Nitty Gritty City. Welcome in. We're talking about the Dispatch TTRPG. So this is, I preface this is all unofficial. This is all fan-made by me because I like Dispatch. I love tabletop role-playing games. And a few people had kicked around like, what's gonna happen? Is Critical Role gonna do a TTRPG? Will Ad Hoc do one? Will someone else do one? What system will it be? All that stuff was getting kicked around a lot. I was like, I think Dispatch needs its own special system. And here's why I say that. There's like a load of great systems for any kind of like premise of of game you can think of. There's probably a system for it. There's a lot of great superhero systems. There's Mutes and Masterminds. There's Masks. There's Icons. There's like Fate. There's a bunch of systems that are really good at that. But one thing I always think is interesting is when you have something that people love, I think it helps when you can take that source material and adapt it as closely as possible to the tabletop experience. And the cool crossover is when you can get people who love tabletop role-playing games who have never played Dispatch to love your tabletop role-playing game. And vice versa, when you can get people who love the game who have never played a tabletop role-playing game to love your tabletop role-playing game. But I am playing the soundtrack from Dispatch in the background. I've been listening to that radio song on loop for days. Like, I was working on the RPG, and I'm just like sitting there listening to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, because that's how my brain's wired. I find a song I like and I just like loop it for a million years. So I do want to give everyone a heads up. If you are interested in playtesting any of this stuff, but when I say playtest, I mean basically helping me to refine it, I'm going to do some playtest stuff in my Discord. I do have a Discord. You don't have to join. But if you like hanging out with me, or you like hanging out with the other Pebbles, or you want to get your hands on anything to do with this stuff, then that's the place to do it. I'll probably do like a playtest with some of my friends and just be like, what did you all think? Because they're all big Dispatch. Well, Atomic's a big Dispatch fan. Flara's a big Dispatch fan. Liara is interested in playing the game. She has the game. She just, I don't know if she's played it yet or not. I wish I could get Prism to play this, because I think Prism would love the world of Dispatch. So, I am just going to be rambling. If you want to come and go on this journey with me, say hello to Beef. Beef! So I basically sat down and I was like, I want to do a tabletop role-playing game. Beefington? His name is Beef, not Beefington. How dare you? Atomic, you type his name properly in chat right now. How dare you type his name as Beefington? I'm waiting, Atomic. I'm waiting. His name is Beef. His name is Beef. He's a sweet, perfect baby. Beef. That's right. Atomic did a sketch for her. She's doing a donathon to raise money for her dishwasher, and she did a sketch of Beef. And it's really cute. Atomic is a very talented artist. Okay, so I sat down and basically I have made a ton of RPGs over the years, and most of them sit in drawers because I am not a published mainline press person with millions of dollars to throw at publications, but I still like making them. So I sat down with the goal for this of being like, how am I going to make this its own thing? And some people were like, oh, they should do something with Daggerheart. And I'm like, here's my problem with that. And this is not me taking a swing at anyone or saying anyone did anything wrong. Anyone can do whatever they want. As long as they're having fun and no one's being hurt, do what you want. Daggerheart, to me, from the things I've touched on with it, is basically another version of the typical story medieval fantasy TTRPG. Which all of them are based on D&D, and D&D at its core is not a role-playing game. Not really. People role-play with it, but it's not what its focus has ever been. It's a combat simulator, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I love Dungeons and Dragons, but the focus of that game from the earliest days is combat. It's combat and beating the shit out of people, and beating the shit out of dragons. This music is so good. Okay. Okay. So when people are like, oh, well, I'm going to do a port, and like, there have been like a million versions of D&D 5e that have been like, oh, we're going to make it into a spy game, or we're going to make it into a superhero game, or we're going to make it into a this, that, or the other. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. Do you. If that's what you like, you do you. But to my mind, I don't want to do that. I wanted to give Dispatch its own thing that's unique, like Dispatch is. I am so distracted because I keep looking at seeing Beef. Okay, so if you don't want spoilers for the game because you're still playing it, this is your warning. There will be spoilers in here. So I'm giving you all a minute to depart, because from here on out, if something gets spoiled for you, then it's on you, not me. It's on you. It's not my fault anymore. I gave you warning. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, like when the VOD gets published, this is your chance to run. So I looked at like the three big elements to what Dispatch really was, because Dispatch was really 3 games in one. There's obviously the storytelling and the role playing, so making the choices and what does your Robert do and interacting with people. That's all role play, and that's awesome, and we love role play. Then there's the hacking, which you all know how much I love the hacking. But it's a core element of the game, and I was like, I want to capture that in a tabletop RPG too. And then there is, of course, also the dispatch. And I've seen so many people who said they loved the actual dispatching part of that game, and being like, can we have just like an endless dispatch? Can we just have like the option to sit there and dispatch ad infinitum? And I was like, okay, people love the elements of this game, and I want to make sure each of them shine and give each one like its own little spot. So we're gonna grab a window here. Give me a sec. I am just closing some stuff because I don't want to leave Twitter open, and I don't want to leave Blue Sky open. You know what's weird? My Twitter is very safe for work, and my Blue Sky is just constantly like, I'll go to open Blue Sky, and it's like, butts! And I'm like, whoa, okay. Why? Okay, so let me grab this. And we're gonna grab this window. And that is not where I want it to be. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna be in the way. But that's fine, because you're not going to be able to read this. It'll be posted in my Discord. So if you actually want to read any of this, you can do that over in my Discord. In my Discord. You should head over there. We have fun and do neat stuff. So I started off with this where I was like, okay, what do I want to do with this? Again, this is all fan-made. This is all me. This is me sitting here. Get out of here. Leave me alone. Go away. I sat here and I wrote pretty much every day while I was at work, in my spare time when I wasn't streaming, in my spare time when I wasn't doing Discord watch parties. And for the record, if you're wondering, how long is this thing? Right now it's 26 pages long. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's going to be a lot more here. So I kind of wrote it tongue-in-cheek. I wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to be funny. So, like, it kind of starts off, and chunks of it are written like it is an SDN employee handbook. Because I thought that was really funny. And there's some, like, lore in here. So, like, if you have no idea what Dispatch is, you could be like, okay, well, here's this RPG that I really want you to play. And you could be like, welcome to SDN. This is your onboarding document from Human Resources. Whether you're joining as a newly recruited hero who will be operating out in the field, or you're a dispatcher who will be working from one of our operations centers, remember, you're all part of what makes SDN super. With over 300 heroes working at SDN, there are always new faces to greet and new teammates to learn more about. Welcome aboard. Please remember that your team is here to support you in the field and in the office. The dispatcher plays the role of your game master, guiding the other team members through an adventure. During a campaign, the dispatcher will also be a player collaborating with the rest of the team to tell a story. So this was one of the early things that I knew I wanted to do. And this is very tricky to do with TTRPGs. I really wanted the dispatcher to play two roles. One is a player and one is your game master. So yes, the dispatcher plays the role of your game master because that was the most sensible person to have take on that role. But they are also very much a player. So it's not just a system where some systems can be very adversarial, whether they mean to or not, and like people will be like, oh, our GM's really mean and he's out to kill us. Why isn't my music playing? Oh, it is. Okay. It's just switching. I love the Dispatch soundtrack. Even though it doesn't have the licensed music, it's the music for the actual game, but it's like they didn't put in like Flambe's version of the song. So I sat down and I was like, okay, how are we gonna make all of this work? And we'll get into that. We're gonna get into that. There's 26 pages of content here, so. And then, like, I jumped into, there's a little SDN facilities tour which I'm already gonna add stuff to this, and it's like, you know, if someone hadn't played the game, be like, oh, here's the, you know, all the stuff that SDN has going on. Like, I put, the SDM gym features all of the fitness equipment anyone could ask for. Please remember to use a spotter when you're lifting weights. And then I put in, like, little notes, like, that are written in by the... Because, like, I'll go in and put in, like, little Post-its and, like, little colored stuff eventually. And, like, who wrote especially Robert the Bitch here? Which would be Flambe. Flambe wrote a little note in here. Like, this is, like, Robert's SDN handbook. This is, like, Robert's SDN... This is, like, after Robert has... After the course of the dispatch game, they were like, Robert, we need you to, like, refine the handbook. Because you're, you know... You're Robert Robertson the Third. You can do it. You can do anything. So they have him do this, and yeah, it goes about as well as you would think it would go. You know, we got like the locker space is available for all staff, as is a shower facility. Note, please do not dispose of foodstuffs in the shower drains. I do also want to take a sec. I did a whole section here about safety tools. So the reason I did that is safety is essential in tabletop games. Safety is essential everywhere we go. And far, far too often, especially in TTRPGs aimed at adults, there is a lack of safety. And some people will be very dismissive of safety tools. These are not the only safety tools that exist. I'm going to run through these really quickly. There's more info on them in here. So, three really common things. Well, there's really four, so I'm going to go through the four of these. But the three really common safety tools are verbal communication. It's you talking to your players, talking to your friends, talking to the people at your table, and saying, something makes me uncomfortable. This goes to Session 0 a lot, and we'll talk on Session 0 a little bit later too, but Session 0 is a really good chance to do this, where you can sit there and say, hey, I really don't like this kind of humor, or I really don't like this kind of content. And you can outline that and what your comfort levels are, and you can just talk about it. And that can grow and evolve and change as you're playing. At any point, your players should feel comfortable saying, hey, this does not make me feel okay, and I want to change course. Now, depending on your group, you maybe have a group of people who don't know each other that well yet. Maybe this is the first time you're meeting up. There are con games, or you're just new friends. Or some people just aren't comfortable being that outspoken about something. So there are other tools that are a little less direct. You have, of course, the option of cards. So if you're like, what the hell does that mean, Saku? So a really common one is like playing cards. Or you could use any kind of card. But basically, the premise is you have a series of cards that you're going to utilize. Some cards may signal that, hey, I need to stop what's happening at the table urgently. And by placing that card out, you are signaling, hey, something that's happening at the table is making this person so uncomfortable, we need to immediately stop and about face. Now, if the person wants to discuss that, they can, of course, discuss that. But it's not mandatory. It's basically like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. Now, if everyone's like, we don't know what the hell we're stopping, that might be a good chance to kind of, you know, as a group, figure out where things went awry. Then, of course, there's text. Text is also, a lot of us, you know, have phones, and we have, especially if you're doing like Discord games or things like that, text can be a very good way to communicate directly with one other player and be like, you know, you reach out to your dispatcher and be like, hey, I don't like how player X is behaving towards me or towards anyone else at the table. And safety is the responsibility of everyone at your table. It's not just the responsibility of your game master. It's not just the responsibility of in any system, in any venue. Now, I do always kind of go by the thought process that it should be their responsibility first, because when you assume that role, you are taking on a role of additional responsibility. And I have definitely always been a GM who, if I see someone acting up, if I see someone behaving in a way that makes me even think someone might be uncomfortable, I step on it very quickly, and I step in, and I'm going to become involved very rapidly in what's happening. So with that in mind, it's very easy, again, via text. So if you want to message them, text them, the most important and the biggest crux to all of this is say something. You can communicate verbally, you can use the cards, you can text. All of those are great tools. There are other tools that exist that are more complicated, but these are three basic ones that can be adapted to pretty much any setting, any game. Say something for your safety, because if you just sit and suffer in silence, chances are you're probably not the only one who's uncomfortable, first off. And second off, it's not going to get better. You're not going to, if somebody's doing something and they're making you uncomfortable and they have no idea and no one knows what's going on, it's like, now, there are people who won't care, and that's a whole other conversation, and that's when you as a group can say, okay, we're not going to invite person BBDBD back, because they don't care about our comfort, and they don't care about our safety, and those people don't have a place at your table. I love this song. With that in mind, it is vitally important that you be comfortable talking. If you're not comfortable talking with a group because it's a new group and you don't know them very well, that is okay. But you have to you have to reach down like Robert, and you gotta find that thing in you to put down the card, send the message, or just say stop. And if you're not comfortable with that, and you don't find support for your safety and your comfort at a table, leave. Get up, walk out, get out of that Discord, leave. Your comfort and your safety are the most important thing. More than any game, more than anything else. Get the hell out of there. And if people roll their eyes when you talk about safety tools, chances are it's not a good group to be in. Now, we're talking about Dispatch, and Dispatch is, at its core, kind of a naughty game. There's a reason there's a censor setting. There's wieners. There's, and like Atomic sent me this TikTok someone made of like a dude basically like, somebody basically took all the times there was like an HR violation, and they put it to music. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, and people keep bringing that up. It's like, oh my god, there's so many HR violations. And it's like, yeah, no, there 100% are. There are. You all are being quiet, so you're getting beef again. Give me a sec. Bringing beef back out. Say hello to beef. Beef is sad when chat is quiet. Beef is sad. You're making beef cry. Do you want beef to cry? You're making beef cry. Beef weeps. Beef is crying. Oh my god, Atomic, you don't care about beef? Atomic. Atomic. Look how cute Beef is. Beef weeps. Okay. I just check in on you all every once in a while. Alright. So, safety tools, safety tools, safety tools. Very, very important. This is another aspect of safety tools, and it's also a big part of this game. Session 0. Session 0 is one of those things that you're going to have people who say you don't need one. You're going to have people who say you do need one. I think it's a good safety tool feature too, because if you sit down for a session with people and you can be like, hey, you know what, I'm really not comfortable with like sexual humor directed at me, but I'm fine with it at the table, and everyone go like, oh yeah, no, we totally understand, so we won't bring you into that as long. Or you might say, I'm not comfortable with it at all. Well, that tells us, I'm like, okay, we need to be adjusting to that situation for that player. Now, if they don't adjust, then you may need to find a different group, or you might come and be like, I am terrified of dogs. Dogs terrify me. The idea of dogs terrifies me. Session 0 is a great chance to be like, by the way, can we not do anything involving dogs? Can we not do anything involving X? I don't like doing games where animals get hurt. That's one of my, like, I'm fine fighting monsters and bad guys. I don't want any animals. Like, I don't want to be fighting, like, gophers. So that's always something I express if I'm playing a game, and I try to avoid doing it in games. Session 0 is important to the purposes of this because you're going to be building your characters together. And look, it's Chase. A lot of times what happens when you start a game... What the hell? The hell song is this? Oh my god. I love it. I love that it's Chase and Robert, like... Oh my god, it is the Phenomenon commercial! Oh my god! No, but like, that's so great. It's like, Robert. I love that it was Robert and Chase. Okay, for the record, the screenshots I used here are all screenshots I took during my playthrough. Again, these are obviously from the game, but I wanted to put those in. Okay, so Session 0. A lot of times what happens when you start a TTRPG is you'll have your group, and everyone's excited, and everyone wants to play, and they show up, and you have a group of people with fully fleshed out characters, and you're like, great, now we have to jam these people together. If you're doing, like, Session 0, you can talk about it and be like, hey, I really love Aquaman. Or I really love, like, Aquaman-type characters, and I want to play a character like Aquaman. Well, someone else may be like, oh, hey, I'm really glad you said that. I was going to do it, like, as a joke, but if you actually like that character, I'll lead you to it. And then you can maybe, like, bounce ideas off of each other. And, you know, build your characters together. Because, like, think about, like, Dispatch. So many of those characters have so much in common with one another, and they've already got relationships. Obviously, Coop and Punch-Up, and Malevola and Sonar all have interactions with each other. And, like, honestly, I feel like they all, you know, hell, even Golem and Invisigal have a relationship. Like, they've got stuff going on. So it's helpful to kind of have that, like, back and forth and the camaraderie built in. It's easier to build it in than to add it in later. And then you have more to build on as you're going, because your characters are doing stuff. So that's kind of the Session 0. I did a whole thing on the supply closet. So what the hell do you need to play this game? Now, I will say, RPG materials may vary. You can do whatever you want, but this is like, and I need to fix that spelling error. That's gonna bug me. What the hell? Ooh. Okay, so you need a D10. Everybody needs a D10, or you can share, or you can use a dice rolling app. Do whatever you want. You need something to write with and something to write on. Don't show up with, like, you know, nothing. Character sheets, power counters, which I made for you. Because, like, you know how you're playing through the game and there'll be, like, power, you know, like, oh, your character gets a +1 or a plus whatever or a -1. Use coins. You can use the counters I made. You can use whatever you have on hand. Use Skittles. I don't care. Like, do what you want. Just something that you can keep track of. You need a region map, which I made one. And you can easily make your own if you have any roll-up mat or anything you want. But there's one in this material. You need a D12 for your dispatcher. You need mission cards for your dispatcher. See, the dispatcher has the most stuff that they have to keep track of. And you need a timer. You need something that keeps track of time. You can use your phone. You can use an hourglass. You can use your watch. I don't care. You just need to be able to keep track of time somehow. What song is this? Wait, where are we? Okay, this is Dossier be like... Wait, I want to listen to this one again. I like this one. I like all of them, but I like this one. Okay, so that's a quick breakdown of the stuff you'll need. Then you get to, how the hell do I play this game? So, again, we're going to come back to this. We're breaking the game into 3 pieces that are part of one game. You have roleplay, you have the dispatching, and you have the hacking. We're going to be going over all 3 of them. At its core, the Dispatch TTRPG captures the core gameplay elements present in the video game and brings them to the tabletop experience. Roleplay occurs throughout the session. Remember, your heroes in the field aren't the only characters playing. Roleplay out what the rest of the characters are doing to help build your relationships. So, this is where we're going to talk about your characters. So, the average dispatch team is 8 to 10 heroes, depending on what you've got going on, you know? So, like, you know, we start off with, like, 8 heroes, and then by the end of the game, you've got... Yes! Oh my god. I love this music. I love Phenomenon Man being like, I will now make love to you. Like, oh my god, Phenomenon Man. I missed that. I missed that line in the second playthrough. It was like, oh my god, he's so funny. So you're gonna have a group of heroes, and this is something that I'm really excited about because it doesn't happen that much. You're not playing just one hero, unless you're the dispatcher, in which case you're playing the dispatcher. So if you have a group of however many people, you're always going to have between 8 and 10 heroes. Okay. So, let's say you have 2 people at your table and a dispatcher. Your dispatcher is your dispatcher, and the others will divide those remaining 8 to 10 heroes among themselves. That's a very small group. That's 3 people. So everyone's got a lot of things happening very quickly, right? Right. Gotcha. Good. So with that in mind, it's gonna favor like 3 or 4 people. That way you can split things up a little bit more. But yeah, so you're not just gonna show up and be like, I'm playing Sonar. You could do that if you had a really big group of 8 to 10 players. Like, if the entire cast of Dispatch wanted to play this game, you 100% could do that. But that would be like, okay, cool, great. So if you're Jacksepticeye, Travis Willingham, Laura Bailey, the other voice actors who's I'm really bad at names, have fun with that. That's for like doing the big stuff. Roleplay can happen at any point. So, like, you don't have to be like, when can we roleplay? Roleplay as you're doing stuff. Roleplay stuff out. Roleplay while you're on your way to a mission. Roleplay on your way back. Roleplay is not limited. Roleplay what your other characters are doing while they're vibing out at the SDN. It's like, oh, we all went to the gym. What'd you do at the gym? What happened? Or maybe your character, and this also helps with one of the old problems of TTRPGs of the person who's like, I am an antisocial loner. Okay, great. So the antisocial loner goes off to the gym to be antisocial and alone, and the rest of us will roleplay. So that is a helpful solution to that. A typical session. So session, meaning you sit down, you play. Just like the game, it's going to be broken into 2 shifts. First shift, second shift. Each shift reflects about half of a workday. So you've got, a chance to adjust course and do different things if you want to. So you're playing the SDN heroes. What you're going to do is your dispatcher, we'll come back to some of this later because some of this is stuff that the players are not going to be party to. The dispatcher's going to handle it. So basically, you all sit around and let's say you did your session 0, you made your heroes, you've got your squad going, and you're ready to go. You're ready to play. Or you're using the pre-made heroes that I made for you, which we'll be talking about them a little later too. Actually, we'll be talking about some of them in a minute. You're ready to go. You're ready to play. You're excited, And your dispatcher basically will have a way to determine how many missions are going to become available to you during the course of an event. So, just like the game, you're going to have stuff appear, and you will have a limited amount of time to assign heroes. Now, this is where the game, the TTRPG... I am getting a call. Give me just a sec. Hey Freya, I'm streaming. I'm on stream, don't swear.
What?
I'm streaming, don't swear.
I'm not. Hi, this is a prank call. Bye.
What the hell was that? Wait, let's see what Freya's doing. I want to see what Freya's doing. I'm going to see what Freya's doing.
Game's already started? You can still get it.
Oh my god. We're yelling at Freya in her chat. I don't know what the hell just happened. I want to see what Freya's doing. Okay, she had to spin a punishment wheel. That explains it. Okay, that explains it. Okay. I was gonna say, nobody calls me. Nobody calls me like that. I was like, I'm like, there's only 4 people who would call me on Discord. And I was like, oh, who the hell is calling me? That's funny. I love Freya. She's a very, very funny streamer. I'll do a shout out for Freya. Atomic, if you call me, I'm gonna shun you. I'm busy. I'm busy, Atomic. I'm working. I got work to do. Yeah, there's a shout out for Freya. Okay, so I completely lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I'm gonna show you all this really quick. Let me grab this. I'll show you what some of the work I did here. Ranma! Hello. Okay. I'm gonna put this here. Okay. I'm gonna make myself smaller for a minute. I'll be back. Beep. Atomic, you would call me just to be like beep 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 beep. I love beef in the corner. There's only like a couple people who would call me while I was streaming because they had an urgent need. And I'm like, oh, who the hell's calling me? So this is a mission card. Sorry for what now Atomic's gonna weep. Atomic, go take a nap if you're gonna be crusty. Okay. So I made a bunch of these mission cards. And they will be going out with some of the playtest material, and I'll be adding to these exponentially because I have to. I want to do like a few, but this is just an example one for you all to look at as we are sitting here doing that. Okay, so I did base it kind of very similarly on the format that they're presented in the actual game itself. I have more of these. They're pretty basic and simple. This one's a baddie situation. So your dispatcher would present this mission. It was reported by Sonar. It's like, yeah, I think some bats shit all over the SDN parking lot. Somebody should clean that up, I guess. So then it outlines your goals. It outlines the requirements. It outlines the scores that you have to reach. The requirement is simple. Remove the guano from the parking lot before it becomes more of a mess than it already is. You don't really need to be a fighter. You don't need a huge amount of brain power. You don't need a huge amount of talking power. We need you to be fast and we need you to be willing to touch poop. Which I put as vigor, because those two things made the most sense to me. There's one hero slot available, so you can assign one hero to this job. Because I think sending more than one person to clean up poop... It's kind of like when you get that coffee job. Do you really want to send more than one person to fetch the coffee? They're already going to be mad at you. They're already going to be mad at you. So, like... that's just one example one that I made that was funny, but we'll go back over here. Let me get rid of that. I'm gonna make myself big again. There. I am big now. So, an example one I gave is the villain Liquid State has been sighted near the water treatment facility. He's taken several of the workers hostage, and he may be attempting to contaminate the water. Just like the other one we did, this has goals: rescue the hostages, determine if the water's been contaminated, and apprehend Liquid State. The dispatcher would basically relay this information, and you can put it out, you know, for everyone to see it, or you can just relay it. The minimum number of heroes you're ever going to assign to a mission is 1, unless you're just not doing the mission, in which case it would be 0. A maximum would be 5. So, you know, you can send, like, half the squad to sweep anything out. And you can see the stat breakdown, which we looked at before. This is, again, where the game differs from the TTRPG. In the game, Robert decided everything. Robert was like, you know, we're sending this hero, you go, and then sometimes they would listen to it. And a lot of times they wouldn't. In this instance, you as a group are going to decide, oh, I want to send X hero or Y hero. Then they would travel to the mission site. I'm going to scroll down really quick. Okay, so this is the city grid that I made. You could make a ton of these. This is, you know, where you're basically going to be like, okay, we're here, the water treatment facility is here, so I have to move over there. And you have, you know, you have to get there. Well, you're going to move a number of spaces equal to your mobility. So if you're here, you can move 3, boop, boop, boop. And then, you know, you'll move again on your following turn. I've got to scroll back up. Up. So yeah, there is travel time incorporated into this. The mission does not start until everyone is there. So there's not going to be like, oh, the Flash ran in and did everything before you got there. Everybody gets a chance to do their thing. We're going to talk a little bit about your dice. So once there, the players can roll 1d10, adding their stat to the roll against the target number. Again, this is an example. To determine if the water is contaminated, players have a target of 6. Backshot and Barefoot roll their dice together. These are 2 of the test heroes that I made. They both have base intelligences of 1. Backshot's player rolls a 1, bringing their total to a 3 overall. Barefoot's player rolls a 3, giving them their target goal of 6, allowing them to safely determine that the water has not been contaminated. I am eliminating percentages for this, not because I don't love seeing the percent wheel, but because the only way to do the percentages would be to have someone sit at the table and calculate what's 80% of 20%. You know, it's just like, we don't want to do that much math. We just want to play. The heroes repeat this process for each mission goal, and then an outcome of success or failure is determined. If the mission's a failure, the active heroes suffer an injury and begin their return. If they succeed, then their success is marked for the day. So, if you fail, you fail. You get an injury, and you march back. If you get a success, then you get a success. You earn experience. You do level up in this. This is just kind of remarking on how mission times work. So we talked about turns a bit, and you're probably like, what the hell is a turn? What can I do on a turn? An example turn is really simple. Basically, at the end of the day, a turn is when each player in the group has taken an action. They've done something. Dispatching a hero, rolling to attempt to succeed at a mission, etc. It's basically everyone gets to do something, and then we advance. So every hero, every player is not going to be like left in the zone of, oh, there's nothing for me to do. Whether that's roleplay, whether it's my character is back at the base doing whatever, whether that's getting to dispatch for a mission or working on a mission or something. You're always going to be getting to do things. I wanted to make the game feel fast-paced because, it's like, you know, I know sometimes people are like, oh, RPGs are really slow. This is going to be like, stuff's going to be happening really quick. And, like, you know, I wanted to make time feel important in the game. This example would be the dispatcher announces available mission, the hero players choose which heroes to assign to which mission, and the chosen heroes depart for their mission. So that's an example of a turn. Turns are not like a really long, ponderous thing where you're going to be waiting 30 minutes. They're quick. There's our buddy Phenomena-Man. There are disruptions. While on assignments, heroes may encounter additional layers of difficulty or complications. These can offer more opportunities to resolve the issue or make them harder. Example, your heroes arrive to find an infestation of rodents that they've been asked to deal with are in fact endangered bats. In this situation, the dispatcher relates the new options to the players. And then I thought, I'm like, okay, well, what if instead of having to just, like, kill the rats, which would be bad enough, you're just going to try to, like, lure these bats to a new area. So the mission's changed. So you could be like, this would be a really good one to have, like, sonar on, where you could just be like, hey, let's send sonar, because he can talk to bats, right? And this is where we can talk about the perfect hero. As in the dispatch game, sometimes a hero will be a perfect fit for a mission they're assigned to. The dispatcher should try to improvise these moments with the other players, giving their heroes moments to shine. Remember, no one hero can be the star of the show all the time. An example, outside of the one we just did with the bats and sonar, when Malevola is sent to confront the cult of Cha'ad, the option to have her play upon their fears and immediately surrender presents itself. So, like, if you're looking at a mission and the player is like, hey, my character's whole deal is the ability to control water, and you dispatch them to a fire, you might be like, hey, I don't think I should even have to roll for this. I should just have this. Now, you might not give that to them every time in every situation, but, like, it's like, yeah, it's like a small little house fire, and your character's reasonably good at doing that. Let them have the moment to shine. Let them be like, boom, wrapped it up, got it, let's move on. Malevola, I like Malevola messing with the cultist dudes, just being like, I shut them down easily because they're idiots. I did also want to have events. So here's where we're going to get into the events. Events are big things that affect everyone. So, like, low morale. During a low morale event, any hero's impact suffer a -1 to all of their stats. So, like, if, for example, something happens during the course of play, like an NPC is injured, if Beef is sad, that would be a low morale event. Look how sad he is. He hasn't eaten in days. Look at him. He's so sad. He's so sad. No one's fed him in like 5 whole minutes. Isn't that sad? Isn't it sad? Don't you think he should eat? He needs food. He needs sustenance. He can't be this cute and not eat. Feed him. Tragic. Exactly. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Another example I threw in here was shorthanded. So this is what I actually was thinking about, and I liked it the more originally I wasn't going to have this. Ranma! Don't call him pudgy! This is not a pudgy dog. This is a perfect angel. He is a perfect angel from the moon. We love beef. He's perfect. He's perfect. He has his own section of the book. He's perfect. I love he's got his little bed. Hi, my name's Beef! Okay. Carrying on. Another example would be shorthanded. So if the player of a hero is unavailable to play them, then they will be absent for their shift. This leaves the team with fewer available heroes to assign as a result. So let's say you are all there, you've all shown up, you're all ready to play, and oh no, Dave can't make it. Well, rather than canceling the whole session, now we are just going to be like, well, we're going to play without Dave, and we're just shorthanded, or Dave's late. And he's late enough that we're not just going to be like, well, let's just wait for him. Or if one of your heroes pissed off the other one, and you're like, well, I'm leaving. And it's like, okay, when they're done with their temper tantrum, they'll come back. So that's a little bit about events. There are other ones that I'll put in there, but these are just, again, this is a playtest. This is all early playtest. Then I put in a section about the sardine incident. Fights may occur outside of missions. One such incident occurred when the members of the Z team visited the local villain bar, the Sardine. Tensions erupted in a violent fight, leaving many villains downed. Keep in mind your player's stats and play. Keep in mind your player's stats and play out fights if they occur. Your abilities and stats don't end just because the workday does. For those situations, it is appropriate to utilize the NPC villains provided, or make it up. Remember to get Robert his 30 Crunchwrap tacos after a fight, or he'll keep it. Viz! Again, I put in little notes that I think that's funny when they do that in games where it's like everyone's just like busting on Robert. Okay, so that's kind of like the basic how the hell do we play the game. There's more about some of the hacking stuff, but we're going to get into stats. We're going to get into some of the crunch. Okay, so what are the stats? Combat. Combat represents your ability to... Flambe what? No, we can't say that. Yes, it's true. Fine. Combat represents your ability to fuck shit up. It's your ability to wail on people. It is your ability to beat people up. It is your ability to throw the fire and the flame. Intellect represents your reasoning and deduction. Not every problem needs a fisting. Who the hell wrote this? Intellect is your intelligence. It's, reason and all that good stuff. Vigor. Why is my desk covered in mud? Vigor represents the ability to withstand and endure damage. Vigor also affects how long it will take your hero to rest between missions. We will be talking about resting a little bit later. Charisma is your ability to influence others through speech. Yeah, it's about using your mouth. Yes, and your tongue. In Physical, what? Oh, I see what you did. Very clever. I had so much fun writing in the little notes. I think they're funny. Mobility is all about moving fast. Punch up, what are you? My balls! Mobility also affects how long it takes your hero to travel to and from missions. So outside of doing stuff, mobility is going to impact you because it's going to, if you have high mobility, it's going to take you less time to get to and from missions. So you can move around faster. Vigor is going to allow you to rest less. It's going to take you less time to get back up after you do a mission. We are going to have resting in this. Main strengths. Your strengths represent things that your character does particularly well as an individual. There's a joke in there about the 3Ds, but I'll spare you. Abilities are literally the descriptors of your superpowers. For example, if your hero has the ability to control ice, you could give them cryokinesis. If they have multiple powers, be sure to describe them. This helps frame what a hero can really do in the field. Heroes have a minimum of 1 power, but no more than 4. So, if you want to play Phenomenon, that is totally fine. That is 100% encouraged. We love Phenomenon. We love Flambe. We love our heroes. It helps to know what your character can do. So that you don't get situations where a player just makes shit up constantly to the point where it's like, you literally don't let any of us do anything. Because your hero is like, oh, my guys can do anything, man. Okay, so your power is reality warping. Right. Okay. That's fine, but it's like, oh yeah, also he never sleeps. Like, no. And like I did base this again on the actual game, so it's like even Phenomena Man is like he can fly, he is basically invulnerable, he is super strong, and he's really fast. That's pretty much everything he's got. That's a great list, but he can't, he can't do everything by himself. Synergy did make it into the game. Synergy is a measure of how well heroes work together in the field. Some abilities and strengths complement others better. When you're assigned to a mission with a hero who you have synergy with, add +1 to your hero's highest stat. So instead of just giving it like a flat modify, like just like a huge, like, okay, well you just have like 10% more chance to succeed, we're just going to bump up a stat because we're not doing percentages for this. So it'd be like sending Atomic and Liara on a mission because they're both cute and they're both artists. So they would both add +1 to whatever their highest stat would be. Bro Fist! Powers. Actually, that's for the synergy. I picked that because I liked the idea of, like, the synergy. Bro Fist. Powers represent your abilities. Powers represent abilities your character will grow and develop during their time at SDN. They may allow you to work better in the field as an individual or to support the team as a whole. All heroes begin with one starting power. Though through training, they can add more abilities to their repertoire as they grow. Starting powers can be used to grant a wide variety of benefits, and players should discuss custom powers with their dispatcher. Sakutian has provided a list of starter powers that were built on over time to help get you started. So, if you don't want to use one of the pre-made heroes, you're making your own hero, please make your own heroes. I made a bunch of powers. There's way more to be done here because I was just sitting here coming up with powers. I wanted to run through one set that I really liked. So I loved the idea of a dinosaur-themed character who was also a tour guide, like the Star Tours. So I was like, okay, your whole thing is your starting power is Dino Tour Guide. You know your way around town, reducing your traveling time to and from missions in half. So increase your mobility so you can get to missions more quickly. And then for like if you do the trainings, you could do like armor plated but not outdated. You're able to negate a single injury to your hero. For the rest of their shift, your hero adds +1 to their vigor. So like, it's like, okay, we'll negate that energy. And then you've got Get Jurassic back here. You're able to journey back from missions in a single turn. Now, this probably needs to be reworked a little bit because it's going to stack with Dino Tour Guide poorly, but I do love the idea of the Dinosaur Tour Guide power set. I think it's fun. I like dinosaurs. And then I had like this one for a guy who basically was like, I this is not based on Sonar, but I was like, it'd be fun to have like a character who like is all about suits and like their Sonar has a really nice suit. So you got Power Tie. If all active heroes roll the same number on their attempt, it counts as an automatic success, baby. Power Tie. This requires more than one hero to be assigned to the mission. So if you both roll 3, even if 6 wasn't the number you needed, automatic success. That is like, I'm like, that's so situational, but I love it. If it happens, everyone's gonna be like, yeah! That's a great one for a duo, because like the likelihood of everyone rolling the same number gets smaller the more people you have. Then they have If the Shoe Fits. If you're the only hero assigned to a mission, your maneuverability is +1 for that mission. I just thought that was funny. And then Well Suited. If you fail a mission with a high vigor requirement, you can re-roll and try again. I'm just picturing this dude, like, I don't know what their power set really is yet, but their whole thing is just like, they're gonna be like, they've got the suit, they're ready to go. We did put in stuff for flight school. So similar to like how you can teach Sonar and Flambe to fly, you will get events where it's like, we're gonna have Blazer in here, and you'll be able to have Blonde Blazer or some other hero teaching characters to fly. So you can start off with flight, or you can gain it as you go. Remember, your characters are growing and their powers are evolving as you play. There are other powers here. I'm not going to read through them all because we're going to add to and rework these. But I loved that idea. And there's just like the rapid fire character creation thing. So character creation. Assign your 12 stat points. Everyone has 12 stat points. Everyone starts with 12 stat points. You have to have at least 1 point assigned to each stat. If you want to put all your points into fighting and beat the shit out of people, you can, but you're going to have to put 4 points into your other stats too. You're going to choose your abilities. Again, these are descriptors of your superpowers. You're going to pick 2 strengths. What the hell's a strength, you're asking? Well, a strength is something that your character's good at that's not necessarily a superpower. Like, Atomic's really good at art. And Atomic is really good at video games. So if we were making Atomic in this game, we could be like, oh, Atomic's a gamer and an artist. Are those things going to come up a lot in fighting supervillains? I don't know. They came up a lot in when we were dealing with the stuff in Dispatch, so you never know. They could. Yeah, a gamer. Like, you could do Gaymer, gamer. Gamer. But, like, think about it, like, hi, Atomic. So if you're going on a mission and it's like, you go to a video game, an arcade, and it's being robbed, that might that might trigger like, oh, I'm the perfect hero for this situation because I know games, I can talk everyone down. Okay, yeah, no, I love that. It gives you the blueprints to role-playing lore and to build on what your character's actually doing in the world. You get to choose or create a starting power. So again, I'm gonna go back in and mark some of these because these are all basically like, you know, we'll do the shielding one as an example. After a failed mission, this allows you to prevent 1 injury to yourself. This is like if you're like Sue Storm, you know, it's a basic little shield. And then there's group shielding. After a failed mission, this allows you to prevent injuries to yourself and any other heroes assigned to the same mission. So you see the natural progression there. The shielding school is going to be all about you're going to throw up shields. The third one, which I'm still figuring out the wording of, but it's basically going to be you can prevent once per shift injuries to any hero who fails a mission, even if you're not on that mission. So you're just creating shields from like anywhere. But again, that's going to take training. That's going to take, you know, investment. So you may not want to invest in that. Or you can create something. If you come up with something cool and you can talk it through with the GM, with your dispatcher, and the other players are happy, go with it. And then you pick one other hero to have synergy with. I liked the idea of everyone having like at least one. I didn't want everyone to have like 3 because then people would be like, oh, I forgot who I have synergy with. I think 1 you can keep track of. This goes over the party rule where we're talking about how different players, how many people you're going to control. Again, you're just dividing it. So the dispatcher is playing the dispatcher, and the other people, the NPCs, the heroes are being controlled by the other players. So depending on how many players you have, you're breaking it up evenly amongst yourselves. Let's talk about statuses. Alright, so you've got a couple statuses here. There's in the field. Heroes currently carrying out a mission are unable to be assigned to other missions without returning and resting. Please note some heroes may have powers that allow them to act more quickly than others, because someone's gonna be like, well, wait. So if you're in the field, that's a status. You can't do anything because you're already doing something. Returning is literally you're on your way back. So you're returning. You haven't rested yet. You can't do anything because you are coming back. Resting. After completing an assignment, heroes must rest for a number of turns based on their vigor. If your vigor is between 1 and 3, you have to rest for 4 turns. If it's between 4 and 6, you have to rest for 3 turns. If it's 7 to 10, you have to rest for 2 turns. So like, and this is not how it really 100% worked in Dispatch, but I wanted to make characters like, who have a lot of vigor, like I'm like, Punch Up. And Golem, Phenomenon, those dudes, like Phenomenon could come back really quick. Flambe could come back really quick, but I wanted to make that more of a thing. So, you know, if you're making a really high vigor character, but they're low speed, it gets them back into the action more quickly. Injured is exactly like the game. You failed a mission, you took an injury. It's not that bad. Life goes on. You get it twice, you're down. You can't take any other actions during that shift. Alright, so let's talk about rest. Rest makes breast. Okay, who crossed out best and wrote breast? Sonar did, of course. Rest is basically what your character is doing after they get back from a mission. Or honestly, before. Again, this goes back to like the roleplay mechanic. This is your chance to be like, okay, we're forced into resting for a period of time. And you have the whole facility. And that's why I did the facility guide early on. You can do a lot of different stuff. Talk to the other players. Roleplay. Roleplay what your characters are about and doing and why they feel that way. And see how things are going, you know? And I use this picture for resting because I think it's cute. It's like, okay, we're resting. Okay, so, you know, Robert and Blazer are at a bar. They're just vibing. Aw, this is nice music for this picture. I like that. Leveling up. As heroes act in the field, they will gain XP. This XP will allow heroes to increase their stats and grow in power. When characters level up, they can increase one of their stats by +1 permanently. Heroes start at a level 1 with a maximum level of 10. That will be bumped over time because I know you can go to level 12. We're in the playtest days, so right now we're sticking at 10. Then we get into some stuff with the actual dispatcher. So we've talked a lot about the heroes. Let's talk a little bit about the dispatcher. At the beginning of a shift, roll 1d12 to determine the number of threats that will appear during the shift. This number is added to the number of heroes in play. So if you have 8 heroes and you roll a 5, you'd have a total of 13 missions to be covered. So if you have like a really big group, the minimum that you're going to have, like the minimum you would ever have if you're playing the average is 9 missions. And you'll play that through twice. So you would do 9 missions and then you'd roll again and again. So you'd have like, you know, you're going to have like a decent amount of stuff to do. Again, because the shift is split into 2. So it's like a 2-part workday. That way everyone can kind of be like, okay, everybody, let's take a pee. And I did that on purpose because like, it's like, hey, our pizza's here. Let's eat pizza and pee, and everyone can like, you know, take a minute, stretch, take a walk around the table, do what you need to do. I used this image on purpose for the hacking. I love Robert, and I love Chase, and I love beef. It's the Lord and Savior. It's beef. Beef. He watches all you do, and he eats your food. Beef, 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 beef. I love beef. Okay, so the hacking is something that we're in the early phases of still, as with everything. Certain events will sometimes allow the group's dispatcher the opportunity to attempt to hack to assist them, whether accessing security cameras, disabling troublesome machinery, granting access to secured sites, or turning systems to the benefit of SDN heroes in the field. Hacks will be presented randomly, and the players can choose to ignore them or assign the dispatcher to tackle them. Failure means losing certain opportunities or making an already bad situation worse. When attempting to hack, your dispatcher has 3 skills to consider. So remember, this is a collaborative thing. You as a group can decide, do we want to let the dispatcher hack this, or do we want to be like, no, we're ignoring that. We're not doing that. And the dispatcher may be able to help you. It may open up other missions. It may open up other opportunities, or it could make things worse, or nothing bad could happen. The 3 skills are, and I really, really thought about the hacking. So I'm doing a lot of changes to how the hacking worked in the game. Speed. Speed is measured by okay, so all of the skills are based on your session. So speed is measured by a dispatcher's total successful calls during the shift, minus their failed or missed calls. So, if you've handled, say, 8 calls in the shift, and you have failed or missed 3 of the calls, so again, 8, and then you failed 3, The target number is 5. And someone's going to go, but that means if you're failing missions, it makes the hacking easier. Yes, it's a chance to turn the tide. It's a chance for the dispatcher. It's a risk your luck mechanic. It's a reward for failure. It's me saying 2025 is booty. If you're way far into the session and you get a hack, you might be like, ooh. So early on, those hacks are super easy. It's like, oh wow, we've only had 1 success, and we had 3 failures. There's almost no way you can fail this. It's hacking Granny's security camera. Simple hacks require fast action and rely on pure speed. So speed. It's being fast. It is not necessarily being good. It is being fast. And I forgot to change these words because they're almost identical. But security, they're all measured the same way. So it's always going to be the same measurement tool. Security reflects your dispatcher's ability to counter security they might encounter during a hack. So again, remember those little red orbs? I don't need cheap viewers. Be gone, bot. Boop. This is your ability to get through those. This is your ability to get passwords. This is your ability to do all those puzzles that I failed repeatedly. High security systems. So like, think like supervillain database and stuff like that. Skill reflects an overall ability to navigate especially complex hacks. So this is the ones that are like find the frequency, multiple steps. I would say like if you're going by like speed is probably the easiest thing to master, security is the next, and then actual big time skill is the hardest. Dispatchers each get to choose an area of hacking as their expertise. They add +3 to any rolls made in that area. This is all being worked on, and I'm testing the numbers to make sure it's not completely broken. But yeah, you as the dispatcher get to be like, I'm really good at security, or I'm really fast. And again, you're a player. You're a player as well as the de facto game master. Hacks do allow multiple attempts. So we'll have some hack cards for you all to look at soon, and you'll be able to see what those look like, and you'll be able to see like, okay, I can fail this twice and still get something for it. When attempting a hack, the dispatcher rolls 1d10 against the target number for the appropriate stat. So yeah, and there's a quick example with the math on it. Alright, and then we've got the dispatcher items. Just like in the game, you've got the coffee pot, the med kit, and the revival kit. So you can allow someone to skip their rest, you can heal an injury, or you can revive a downed hero. Now again, the dispatcher is a player. These are your items. The party can be like, we want you to use that. And you can say yes or no. These are mine. So they can yell at Robert all they want. But if Robert doesn't want to give Sonar coffee, he doesn't have to. And they can do something about it. But, I put in a note about campaign play. So sometimes you want a simple evening of dispatch, but some players may want a more involved and ongoing game. If you're planning a campaign akin to a story like the one that unfolded during dispatch, keep in mind that will likely unfold over several sessions. The materials provided here include one such campaign, but dispatchers could easily fashion any number of campaigns for their players. So a typical session might just be like a chill night. You're just, we're all busy, we're all working. You get together with your friends who love dispatch, and you play through a few sessions of this. If you want to do something like more akin to the story of Dispatch, where you have Shroud and you have multiple villains and you have all these things happening, you can do that. And there is going to be a campaign listed in here. I took everything out of this iteration of it because it is still a work in progress, and I didn't want to actually show anyone anything before I'm ready. But there will be a campaign that goes out with this for everyone to look at. Then we have the pre-made heroes. So we were talking about the pre-made heroes a little bit. So, in case you want pre-made heroes ready for you to jump right into the game without needing to create an original character, we have a squad of heroes who've already joined the ranks of SDN just for you. This is B Squad. The whole joke with B Squad is all of the heroes' names start with the letter B. And I was like, I don't know why that was so funny to me, but I loved the idea of it, and that's what happened. Dispatchers do get a character sheet too, by the way. So don't feel like you're getting completely left out. They don't get starting powers and stuff. They do get abilities, but they don't get the starting powers because they don't need that mechanic. So their dispatcher for B Squad's name is Brian, and I did not misspell that. It's his superpower version name. B Squad's dispatcher has an incredibly enhanced sense of vision, allowing him to see for miles. Yeah, beef. If anyone tried to take beef from Z Squad, they would beat the living shit out of him. Can you imagine, like, at the end of Dispatch, that, like, if anyone tries to take that dog... No. No. It isn't gonna go well. No one would give up beef. No one would give up beef. I think people would give up any hero before they'd give up beef. I don't think anyone would ever let beef... I think they're going to have a problem in the new game if they do one. Because people are going to be, we want more beef. So named him Brian Barry because we love the alliteration. Chief Beef. He's 41, born in Erie, Pennsylvania. He has supervision. His strengths are filing and bird watching. And then you can see his stats. So he's got fighting, vigor, intelligence, charisma, and mobility. Simple. Simple. He's not in the field. He's an older, he's not old, but he's 41. He's, I don't think he's got his supervision. That's his whole power. He can't shoot laser beams out of his eyes. He can't, do very much outside of... And he likes bird watching. So he's just kind of like vibing back at SDN, being like, yeah, there's a fire. All right, so let's talk about our heroes. And I actually spent a fair amount of time on these. This is Backshots. He's a private investigator who dreamed of nothing more than becoming a hero since his powers first manifested. He's a hero with the ability to emit powerful energy blasts from his back. His downfall is that he cannot see what is behind him, leading him to being afraid to fire when he's in the field alone. I loved the idea of a guy whose whole thing was basically just like energy blasts, like big, giant energy blasts. But they come from his back. He can't see what's behind him. Like, I mean, you can turn your head, but like, that's only going to help you so much. His real name is Harvey Corey. He's 32. He was born in Florida. Fighting, vigor, intelligence, charisma. I'm not going to read through the stats, but you can see, again, he's starting out. He's a good all-arounder. If you want to be a little good at everything, there you go. His abilities are ranged, or back-based energy blasts. His strengths are ranged, combat, and detective. He's a detective. His starting power, I need a spotter. When assigned to a mission with other heroes, Backshots adds +1 to his fighting. So see, if you send somebody out with him, just a mirror. Atomic, no! You don't want to go out with a mirror. Get a mirror, bro. Atomic, that's such good role play. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you, Atomic. Well done. That's good role play. Back at it. The first time Backshot gets down during a shift, he isn't. So the first time he would get knocked out, he just says, hell no, I'm not. And then he has everybody get down. When assigned to a mission with 3 or more hero slots, Backshot adds +2 to his fighting. So this is him just basically going, get down! And he just like opens up. I think these reflect he starts off like he's not very confident. Just gonna hand him a makeup mirror from your purse and blow his mind. But he is it's subconscious, Atomic. So starts off with a simple little bonus, and it encourages you to assign him with other people. Then he gets something to pop back up, which helps you if you're struggling. And everybody get down is like, cool. If you put him in a big mission. Now again, remember, he's just going to start with that starting power. He's not going to get all of these from the word go. He starts with this. You have to train him up to get these other powers. So if you're like playing through the game and you're like, oh man, Backshots, should we train you again? We'll find out. Our next hero is Barefoot, a soccer player from Puerto Rico who gains some notoriety for her ability to kick the ball the length of the field. She prevented a mass shooting at a game and was offered a chance to work at SDN. She heads up the SDN Youth Soccer League sponsorship in her free time. So she's like the person who runs the SDN soccer team, you know, that they sponsor. They'll be like, we sponsored the Youth League. And she's the person who kind of organizes that. Her real name is Elena Morales Rojas. She is 23. She was born in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. There are her stats. Again, nice all-around even stats. Doesn't really have anything that she's the best at. Doesn't have any overt giant weakness. Her abilities are Ursine Physiology. She has bare feet. She literally has giant clawed bare feet. Her strengths are soccer player and a fighter. So she just beats the shit out of people and plays soccer. So she's good at both those things. I gave her for a starting power Hibernate. After returning from their first mission during a shift, Barefoot sleeps twice as long as they would normally have to. So you would look at what her vigor would be 3. So it would be the next rank up. She'd sleep twice as long. But after this rest, they're able to go without resting between missions for the rest of the shift. So 1 long sleep, and then they never have to sleep again. But you don't know what missions are going to come out when you get that long sleep. Then I gave her Grin and Bear It. After failing a mission based on charm, Barefoot can make a second attempt to succeed with +1 to their charisma. So she can kind of like force her like, alright, okay. And then Bear With It. Barefoot can prevent an injury to herself. So she has, again, the ability to like be like, I'm not going to take an injury. Whereas Backshot has the ability to not be downed. Barefoot has the ability to eat injuries and to do some second attempts on things and to reduce the amount of time that she has to rest. Then there's Big. Throughout his youth, Big was in and out of trouble with the local authorities due to accidents resulting from his large size. Eventually, he signed up for a mentorship program with SDN, a hero whose only ability is being enormous in size. Topping out at 15 feet in height, they boast enormous strength and vigor. Big is, his real name is Kamal Fergani. He is 27. He is from Oran, Algeria. Now, this is where we're going to see one of our first min-maxi heroes. Pretty solid fighting, huge vigor. Reasonable intelligence, he's not stupid. He's at least as smart as Flambe was. And then you've got charisma. He's not a people person. He's not the most chatty guy. And mobility, because people who are 15 feet tall are generally not going to be the most agile. His abilities are, he's huge. He has super strength and superhuman endurance. His strengths, I love this. So his strengths are Mobza, which is an Algerian traditional form of wrestling, which I was like, that is so cool. Because like, just like picture like a 15-foot dude who knows how to like do grapples and grab you and like wrestle. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect, because he's just big. You know, so if you're fighting like giant robots or kaijus, he's just gonna jump in and be like, ah! And parkour, because I love the idea of him doing parkour. Because how the hell else is he gonna get around? His starting power is Giant Stride. Big can travel to and from missions in a single move, because he's big. All aboard, Big's enormous size allows him to carry other heroes. Heroes assigned to the same mission as Big travel to and from the mission in a single move. He is a bus. He is the guy who is he is not good at mobility, but he's just so big he can get there ultra fast, and he can carry people. And then there's I'm a team all on my own. When assigned to a mission with multiple slots, if Big is the only hero present, he cannot be injured. So if you throw him at it, the worst thing that's going to happen is failure. He won't get hurt. It's very hard to hurt this dude. If anyone's wondering how big 15 feet is, just for reference, it's about the size of an adult giraffe. You're about as big as an adult giraffe, or like the biggest elephant. Then we've got another guy. I really loved this idea. This guy's name is Boiling Point. He's a chemist who thought his ability to induce heat proved to be of little use aside from his chemistry. While attending college, he managed to defeat a villain by overheating a water pipe and scalding the criminal. He aspires to use his abilities to help others while working at SDN. A hero with the ability to increase the temperature of water. He is intensely jealous of heroes with true fire powers and goes out of his way to prove he's more capable than they are. I just love the idea of a guy whose power is just all he can do is increase the temperature of water. That's all he can do. But think about how scary that power is if used by someone who's smart. Like, you could, like, blow pipes up. You could, like, you know, create the huge waves of steam. You could kill people, but he's a good guy, so, you know, you could blow people up. His name is Braxton Jones. He is 27. He's from Edmonton, Canada. Hello to my Canadian pebbles! Again, this is where we're starting to see the stat variance. He's not a great fighter. He has decent vigor. Intelligence, he's smart. He's a smart guy. Charisma and mobility. So, you know, he can take a punch, he can think. His ability is thermokinesis. His strengths are that he is a chemist and he is a boxer. I didn't say he was a good boxer, but he is learning to be a boxer. His starting power is fight fire with water. Boiling Point assigns himself to any missions involving fires or flame-based heroes. If these missions have a single slot, he automatically succeeds. So, if there's a fire and he is otherwise available, he's just in there. He's like, I'm ready. And he will automatically succeed at it because he's like, I'm ready to go. Then he has, when I get all steamed up on a failed mission, Boiling Point can reset the mission, resulting in no failure, removing himself and any other heroes from the mission and allow it to be reassigned. So, this is a big one for him. If it fails, you don't fail it. Instead, you take yourself and anyone else out, and you can reassign the mission. So this is your get out of jail free hero. And then there's Boiled Over. If the mission success exceeds the necessary goal, Boiling Point can skip his next rest. So you can just be like, okay, we did that, bring him back, send him out again. Bring him, you know, still has to travel back, but he can get a lot done. And then I love this character. This is Be Polite. B-E-E. Growing up working in her family's flower shop, I misspelled flower shop, Be Polite's abilities drew attention to the business. She starred in several commercials that helped their one-shop business took their one-shop business national, seemingly overnight. While shooting the commercial, she prevented one of their stores from being robbed. The footage from the film crew went viral, and she became an overnight sensation. She signed on with SDN to use her abilities to help people and has been voted SDN's most polite hero 3 years running. She is an insect-themed hero who possesses enhanced speed and wing-based flight. So she actually has, like, B-wings. And she's, like, a low-level super speedster right now. We'll see how fast she gets. Her real name is Isla Wu Ying. She is 26. She was born in Carlsbad, California. This is a very min-maxy hero again. Not a lot of fighting, not a lot of vigor. Average intelligence, very charismatic. She's very charming. I wanted to play that up with her. And she's pretty mobile. She's not like, again, she's low-level super speed right now. Her abilities are flight and super speed. And her strengths are, she's a florist, and she's an actor. Florist and an actor. Her starting power is seasonal allergies. Be Polite cannot be assigned to the first mission during any shift. She adds 1 to her vigor for the first mission she is assigned to. So, she can't do the first mission. First mission comes out, she can't do it. But, she does get +1 to her vigor for the next mission. So that can be helpful. She can add a little extra. Swarm. When Be Polite is assigned with 2 or more other heroes, she gains +1 to her mobility. I might change that to fighting. In fact, I think I will change that to fighting. I don't know. We'll see. Again, this is all playtest stuff. And then we have What's the Buzz? This is one of my favorite. Be Polite can uncover a number of missions equal to her intelligence before they are revealed. So she can flip stuff. She can be like, okay, so we like, it's like right now her intelligence is 2. So you can be like, oh, cool. We can know what 2 missions we're going to have to do at some point and plan out what we're going to do with them a little bit more carefully. So you can hold back your resources. Then we have Beaver Boy. Born in Long Beach, Danny worked as a bike messenger until he gained some notoriety after rescuing a group of motorists whose car had been driven off the Long Beach International Gateway. He signed on with SDN hoping to use his talents to help more people. A young hero with beaver-like teeth and fur. He specializes in search and rescue missions near the water. His real name is Daniel Maynard. He is 29. He was born in Long Beach, California. Again, this is another very average. Fighting, vigor, intelligence, charisma, mobility. Nothing like huge, but he's not bad at anything. His abilities include his enhanced teeth. He has beaver teeth. And he's got insulating fur. So he is very, he's got the beaver teeth, he got the beaver bite, and he's got the fur. His strengths are he is a cyclist and he is a swimmer. He's a cyclist and a swimmer. His starting power is Beaver Bike. Beaver Boy gains +1 mobility to his mobility thanks to his trusty bicycle. His mobility cannot be increased by the abilities of other heroes. So he always gets that +1 to his mobility, but he can't, and no one's going to carry you when you're on your bike. He's got Damn It. Place a marker over a mission to prevent it from timing out. So he can just be like, nope, that didn't time out. And that gives you more time to resolve that mission. Damn it. And then you got Bite Back. When Beaver Boy is injured, he adds +2 to his fighting. These are all puns, by the way, if you haven't figured it out yet. Then we've got Bark. I love Bark so much. For most of his life, Hayden has worked as a dog walker. He wanted to be a veterinarian, but the money for the career never materialized. When he noticed his ability to read the thoughts of animals manifested, he didn't think it would allow him to do much except better care for animals in his charge. However, he was instrumental in breaking up a dogfight operation. Local authorities put him in touch with SDN, and he's been a valued addition to the company ever since. A telepath who can only communicate with dogs. He quit his job as a dog walker to work for SDN for better pay. So, better pay, better profile. His real name is Hayden Harris. He is 42. He was born in Los Angeles, California. And this is, again, a very min-maxy hero. Doesn't have a lot of fighting. A little bit of vigor, little bit of intelligence, little bit of mobility. It's all charisma. He is all charm. He is the most charming guy. He's just like, hi, I am Captain Charm. His only ability is canine telepathy. So he can read the thoughts of dogs. That's all he can do. He can't read your thoughts unless you're a dog. His strengths are he's an animal lover. So he's good with animals. And he's a runner. He's a dog walker. So he's used to running. So if you need something, done that involves a lot of running, that's his bag. His powers are leader of the pack. When assigned to the first available slot on a mission, Bark gains +1 to his mobility. Pack it in. When Bark is the only hero assigned to a mission, he can call in local canines to help him. These dogs fill any unused slots. Their stats are all 1s. So imagine this dude's, you're like, oh man, we only have Bark. Bark's the only hero here. He just basically calls up a pack of dogs to help him. And then you have sniffing out trouble. Tapping into the full network of dogs in the area, Bark can uncover trouble before it starts. The dispatcher reveals the next 3 missions before their calls go out, giving the heroes extra time to dispatch to them. So again, I like the idea of a proactive team. So you have Be Polite and Bark, who both have abilities to give you extra time to know what's coming. And Beaver Boy has the ability to just be like, nope, that's not getting us shut down right now. So you have a lot of meta. You can play with this if you build these characters up. And then we have the last member of Team B Squad, who is Boneyard. Boneyard is a necromancer who specializes in arcane cases. She was arrested, but she arranged a seat on B Squad as part of her parole. Her real name is Cassandra Buckley. She is 44. She is from Chicago, Illinois. Again, has a little fighting, little vigor, pretty intelligent, pretty charismatic, not the most mobile. Her abilities are necromancy. Her strengths are being a necromancer, and she is reformed. So she used to be a criminal. She was a criminal. Her starting power is kind of creepy. If dispatched alone on a mission, Boneyard's charisma is halved. So instead of a 4, it'd be a 2. If she's dispatched with at least one other hero, she instead adds +1 to her charisma. So she's not good solo, for that. If you send her with someone, like be polite, she gets a little bonus. She's a little creepy. It teaches you to look beneath the surface of people, because sometimes people aren't what we think they are at first. Second chance. I love this one. The first time a hero is down during a shift, Boneyard can revive them. The hero must rest after being revived. So if someone goes down, Boneyard can be like, nope. Because she's a necromancer. And then we have a bone to pick. After failing a mission, Boneyard can immediately be deployed without rest. So she comes back and she's pissed. She's ready to go on another mission immediately. There are some more NPCs that I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add more teams and things to give y'all some more options. The NPC... So remember before we were talking about like how there'd be like NPC fights? I just made some villains. There's this dude named Goatrilla, who's like... I just love the idea of this. It's like, Flambe, I set this dude on fire once. Like, a little on fire. The smell still haunts me to this day. Punch up. I punched him in the nuts. Flambe, that worked? Punch up, it always works. His name, I'll probably have to go back in and fill in some of these details. His whole thing is, he's a really good fighter. He's really, really tough. He is dumb. He is not charming. And he's got pretty good mobility, because, like, goats are pretty mobile. So are gorillas. He's got gorilla strength and goat horns. His strengths are climbing and headbutting. Again, he's half man, he's half gorilla, half goat. And then I put in, like, the Cultist of Chod. We're going to have some other guys in here. Like, well, like the Yachties, the Power Ranger Robbers, which I was like, what are their strengths? Breaking windows and getting their asses kicked by Blonde Blazer. Toxic's here. I gave Toxic, like, 5s because, like, dude is not that smart. He's not that charismatic. He's just a huge dick. He does have regenerative healing. He does have flight. He does have super strength. His strengths are being naked and being a dick. And then the NPCs will have Beef. We'll have Blazer. We'll have Chase. We'll have Gallon, Lana, Mr. Whiskey, Phenomenon, Roy, Mecha Man. And these are some of the character sheet things that I made. So, like, this would be, like, part 1 of your character sheet where you're going to put, like, what's your character's name? Here's where you could put a picture if you want one. Are they a dispatcher? Are they a hero? Who's their manager? If you know, are they... Well, we'll have some NPC managers for you in case you don't want to work with Blazer. We've got, you know, your program and your team and your employee ID. This QR code doesn't go to anything. Eventually, I might make it link to the PDF for the game itself if I ever host that anywhere online. And then here's another, you know, your actual character sheet where you'll put your stats, your age. And, like, for the case of B Team, only one of them has a criminal record currently. But, like, again, the reason I went with that was because Z Team was like, oh, they're a team of villains. They're a team of villains who've all been reformed. I like that idea. And I think that there'd be more villains who are being reformed, like, blended throughout. And that's why I made B Team have a villain who's been reformed. And you can have, like, your descriptions and your pictures and your art. I left room for stuff. Again, this is all prototypes. These are the little tokens that I made. So if you're like, oh, this is our +1, you can put these out, and that way you'll have stuff. And there's that grid that we were talking about. And we're going to have different kinds of grids. So, like, what I mean by that is this. This is, like, I would say, like, the staple starting grid. If you want a quicker game, we're going to have a grid that'll be the same area, but the grid sizes will be bigger. So you'll be moving a lot faster. You'll be getting to missions to and from very, very quickly. You know, we could do a bigger map with a smaller grid. So you can, if you're like, oh man, the game is too easy. Saku made it easy on me. We can add difficulties to it very easily. I'm really, really proud of this. I think it's awesome, and I'm really excited to keep working on it and add more to it, and see what I can do with it to kind of grow it out. Dispatch has been an immensely fun game. I've really enjoyed playing it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we are going to get another game eventually. we shall see how that goes. We shall see how that goes. Will we get another game? I don't know, and it'll be years if we do. If you want to try out the Dispatch TTRPG playtest, the unofficial fan-made one, I'll be getting some stuff up in the Discord probably soonish. I want to like tweak a few things and fiddle with some stuff, but like right now it's at the point where I could give this to someone like, this is playtest material, and I think people could have a lot of fun with this. I'll probably get the playtest version out to people this week, and that way y'all can mess with that. And yeah, and no pressure if you don't want to join a Discord. It's just my way. I love games. I love superheroes. I haven't made an RPG like this. I used to do this for like everything that I fixated on. I would sit there and make games for it. And I stopped doing it because like I ended up having so many games that would just sit in a drawer because I can't do anything with them. But we all, like, so many people in my community, so many of the Pebbles were like, I love Dispatch, I love Beef, I love Phenomenon. And I'm like, and then people were like so sad because like, well, there's not going to be any episodes this week. That's it. That's the end of the game. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. You know, we can do other things. We can do our own thing. So I hope you all thought this was cool. I think it's pretty neat. I'm sorry today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. Again, I'm taking a break from games this week just so that I can give you all something besides Saku sits here and plays game. Because, like, I love playing games with y'all, but I know I have to do other things to stand out. And, I really do hope that people like this, and I really do hope that it scratches the Dispatch itch for a few people. If anyone who was ever involved with the Dispatch game happens to upon this, thank you for making a game that really, really meant a lot to so many people. I'm rooting for more game in the future. I would love to do more with Robert. I'd love to see characters that we all care about get more story and get to do more. Does anybody have any questions you want to throw out in chat? Any thoughts? Any questions? Feel free. Ba, 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 ba. We're going to raid. I'm going to give people a minute to put in their questions if they want to. So do they, like... no, they can roleplay the actual calls. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, when you get to the call, you... Okay, so let me grab a call card just so we can have an example to work from here. I like this one. I thought this one was cool. Okay, so this is one I called Turf War. So this is like basically one where the cult of Cha'ad and the Yachties are having a turf war. So after you get to the mission, yes, absolutely. And that's what I was saying in the roleplay section. Roleplay can occur at any time. The mechanics of the roles and the simulators to make that stuff happen, that is mechanics. You can... And the dispatcher should be like, you know, saying like, okay, you get there and this is what you see. This is what's happening. What do you do? Remember how, like, think of it like this. When Invisigal gets to Granny's, if you were the dispatcher in the TTRPG version, you would be describing what she's seeing, and then she would react to it. Now, some people don't like the RP as much. They like the tabletop experience. So you can streamline that if you don't want to do it. But I'm all for people doing roleplay. I love roleplay. Roleplay. I tried to make it so that it would fit any table and any level of what you want. Some people just don't like roleplay that much. they're not comfortable with it. So they like having the structure of a mechanic to work with so they can still contribute. And I think this worked that pretty well. But that's a good question, Atomic. Do you have any other questions? I'm just waiting to see if anyone has any questions. Ba, ba, ba. Da, 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 da. Here. Put SDN back on. Oh no, because it sounded like very tabletop simmy, and you're like, yeah. No, you can roleplay. I think I even said, like, I'll double check. I think I said, let's see. Yeah, roleplay occurs throughout the session. Remember, your heroes in the field aren't the only characters playing. Roleplay out what the rest of the characters are doing to help build on their relationship. So yeah, roleplay occurs throughout. For today, I did focus a lot on mechanics because you have to explain how it's harder to explain to people how the hell to play a game than it is to explain what roleplay is. But yeah, roleplay. Please roleplay. And roleplay, honestly, is easier to explain than anything. Again, within the context of safety tools, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so Atomic doesn't have any other questions. No one else has asked any questions. So I will raid out. I will be back on Thursday. We're going to hang out, and I'm going to do the Trunks stream that I've promised you all a long time ago. So if you like Trunks, come hang out. And until next time, remember to play more games, be safe. If I see you in the Discord and you want to hang out and play that, I will be around. We'll get some games going. We'll get some playtest games going for that. Until next time, be safe. Do your best. I'm proud of you. Bye-bye, everybody.